going on here? Well, you bought some boarding passes.
I have. Well, I'm just going to give you... I know you're all way too young, but in the olden days, you used to have an airline ticket.
Still love it.
Piece of paper, look at that. And they tear out the coupons and everything else. And then you got your passport.
Yeah.
OK. Now, the idea is that within years, and we can argue about how many years, that will all be gone. You know that already when you book a flight, you're going from Manchester to Malaga, you can book the flight in 2 seconds. But then, that's only the start. You've then, later on, got to check in. So you book a flight, basically saying, I'd like to travel, and then they say later on, oh, do you want to travel? And so you'll now get something called a journey pass. And when your passport and your phone finally get integrated, so you've got a proper digital passport, then it will say, oh, that's Bev, yeah. And you'll be walking into an airport, you won't need to do anything. Facial recognition now so good that, for instance, I've got identical twin sisters and it can tell them apart. And actually, it's really only the family who can do that. So facial recognition, very good, all merges together and you just breathe through and you get to the gate and they say, oh, Bev, welcome on board. And that's it. So
it sounds horrific.
Why?
Calder.
Why?
Because there's nothing more frustrating than computer says no, technology breakdown. And as we know, these systems and services are deeply unreliable. Yeah. Even on a very basic level, if you can't pay your parking because the app is not functioning or whatever it is, there's not a human being to talk to. Yep. I've travelled recently with my other half. We went to Morocco. And, of course, you get to the check-in. And we hadn't done the check-in online. Yeah. We deliberately didn't do it because I quite like to sometimes... Well, I like to talk to people. I know that's old-fashioned.
We've noticed.
I quite like having a chat with the person
of course,
when you're checking in. And actually, sometimes I have done the check-in. I don't like going to those machines where I have to weigh my own bag. Why am I doing someone else's job when I'm not getting paid for it? I don't want to decide where I'm going to sit. I want someone to do all of that for me. In this era, this brave new world of digitisation, I just see stress, inconvenience, and a system that, when it goes wrong, goes horribly wrong, and you can't talk to a human being.
Yeah, I know, Bev. I think, if I may, you would be most comfortable back in the 20th century with your paper ticket, with your passport, with a nice check-in person who's smiling at you and so on. Smile, for goodness sake.
That's you, Henry Hill. House for the EasyJet, you'd be fabulous.
Yet... actually, things are going exactly in the opposite direction. I'll take your point. You've covered, of course, on GB News, things like the e-gates falling over all the British airports, endless airline IT failures. And yet, the direction of travel is still really clear. And the thing which has actually accelerated was, and I'm sorry to mention it, COVID. Yeah, do you remember to get anywhere, you had to have 17 different apps on your phone. Yep. You had to have QR codes. You had to say, in Henry's case, oh, yeah, I've had me jabs and here's my certificate. And I had my test yesterday and here's that. And the whole idea is that your whole world, your whole permission to travel is going to be on your phone, and that's the only way you're going to get around.